Ya no transmitió YouTube.
Porque lo pausó, lo cortó y ¿Fernando y Luis?
Sí. WhatsApp en la tableta.
¿En serio?
Sí, en la mañana. Si quieres conectar el HDMI tantito. Puedes conectar el HDMI. Ajá. ¿Tienes personal?
De Angie, no.
No, sí sales todavía. No, pues es todo el piso, ¿eh? ¿Tienes el link original? Creo que lo podemos utilizar con el otro. Fue el primero, ¿no? Déjame ver si lo puedo hacer.
Vamos a ver la valía. Basta ya.
Tengo la cartita receptora.
Muy buenos días. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo están todos? Gracias. Gracias por venir todos. Muchas gracias. Veo muchas caras conocidas, antiguas, que nos siguen en este ecosistema desde 2016. Veo por ahí gente del agua, electricidad. Gracias, Jaime, Amerca, Water Meter. Muchas gracias. Pues gracias por acompañarnos aquí. Estamos muy complacidos de que Henri haya venido aquí, porque siento que estos últimos años han sido difíciles para el ecosistema de Sigfox. Ha sido complicado con este anuncio que se dio en 2021, ¿no? de la retoma de la tecnología por la parte de UnaBiz. Y siento que faltaba algo en el ecosistema. Necesitábamos dar buenas noticias para que todo esto siga yendo para adelante. Finalmente lo estamos viendo en 2023. Hay muchas verticales que han retomado muy buena inercia, ¿no? para entrar. Y justamente viendo con toda esta inercia, quiero también dar muy buenas noticias. El día de hoy también nos acompaña, junto con Henri, nos acompaña Luis Javier Castro. Él es, y esta es la primicia, él es nuevo inversionista de WND México. Le doy las gracias, por favor. Muchas gracias, Luis Javier, por creer en nosotros, por creer en la tecnología y dar este gran paso. Luis Javier es socio fundador de Mesoamérica, que viene invirtiendo en muchas verticales en Latinoamérica desde hace más de 25 años. ¿No? Él Él apostó por nosotros, por los países de Perú, Colombia y México, con esta tecnología, y quisiera que lo reciban con un aplauso para que nos explique cuál es su visión. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Daniel. La verdad es que me siento, yo soy latinoamericano, nacido en Costa Rica, pero me siento absolutamente latinoamericano y feliz de estar de regreso en México. Nosotros en Mesoamérica hemos invertido en México en negocios grandes los últimos 25 años. Fuimos dueños de un negocio que todavía existe, que se llama Evento, dedicado a call centers, no sé si lo conocen. Teníamos en México alrededor de 50,000 empleados en Evento. Y fuimos inversionistas también en un negocio de energía renovable que se llama Suma, en donde cuando vendimos llegamos a tener creo que 400 megas eólicos y 400 megas solares. Somos creyentes en México como la economía número 15 del mundo, y además con una capacidad de reinventarse, de atraer inversión. Me parece que estamos en un momento espectacular para México alrededor del tema del nearshoring, cómo atraer una gran cantidad de inversiones al país. Entonces, nada más en ese sentido felicitarlos porque tienen un país espectacular y me siento orgulloso de haber hecho cosas con México. Nosotros en el año 2015 quisimos empezar a invertir en empresas que pudieran realmente transformar la región. Y estamos convencidos de que estamos viviendo un momento particular en donde hay una aceleración exponencial de tecnología. Creo que se ha vuelto muy evidente. Sí, creo que todos sabemos, y específicamente en tecnología de computación se volvió bastante evidente el crecimiento exponencial, pero para nosotros se ha vuelto bastante evidente e importante entender que estamos en un momento en la historia de la humanidad bastante particular. Si nosotros nos paramos hoy, en el año 2023, y vemos hacia atrás una línea de conocimiento, probablemente la vamos a ver muy en línea recta, aunque del año 1000 al 1500 hicimos el conocimiento, de 1500 al 1700 se volvió a duplicar, después a los otros 100 se volvió a duplicar. Pero si llegamos a esta línea en 2023, estamos en un punto en donde probablemente si vemos cada 2 años se va a empezar a duplicar el conocimiento. Y estar vivos como humanidad en ese preciso punto de inflexión me parece que nos genera una gran responsabilidad. Somos una generación, en mi opinión, bendecida, porque estamos en el punto de inflexión donde vamos a empezar a ver cosas tremendamente diferentes, casi que nos caben en la cabeza de aquí para adelante. Y yo pienso que IoT es una de esas 7 tecnologías, 8 tecnologías, como inteligencia artificial, 3D printing, edición genética, quantum computing. IoT es una de esas tecnologías que definitivamente va a ser un salto cuántico en cuanto a lo que nosotros podamos saber de todas las cosas. Creo que el capitalismo de los últimos 300 años ha hecho maravillas, pero también nos ha llevado a unos puntos complejos, extremos en cuanto a temas climáticos y en algunos casos muy profundos de iniquidad. Y estoy seguro que la única manera que como especie podamos proteger al planeta y a la humanidad es entendiendo al planeta y a la humanidad. Y la tecnología que nos va a permitir hacer eso es realmente una inversión que, además de que yo pienso que va a ser tremendamente rentable, es una inversión que ayuda a que el mundo sea sostenible en el largo plazo. Y la verdad, cuando tuve la oportunidad de conocer a Henri, me di absoluta cuenta que fue maravilloso que Sigfox hubiera quebrado. Porque Sigfox es una tecnología ganadora. Es una tecnología ganadora, pero pienso yo que estuvo en las manos incorrectas. Una visión mucho más expansionista y de poner banderas versus ir profundo en soluciones que realmente estuvieran generando valor en el cliente. Creo que anteriormente estaba muy enfocado viéndose hacia adentro, hacia cómo pongo yo mis bases, y no viendo hacia cómo el cliente tiene la mejor solución para solucionar su problema. Cómo yo soy el socio más importante de ese cliente para mejorar su problema. La historia de Henri es una historia para mí muy emocionante, porque es un poco la historia de David y Goliat. Henri es una persona nació en Indonesia, fue migrante a Francia muy niño, de los 2 años, de padres chinos. Brillante en su escuela, entonces fue becado para ir subiendo en el escalafón educativo francés de las mejores universidades a base de mucho esfuerzo, mucho estudio y el apoyo del gobierno francés. Y eso lo hace entrar al servicio exterior francés y ser la contraparte de las grandes empresas tecnológicas francesas en el mundo y específicamente en Asia, en la oficina de la Embajada de China. Y ahí conoce a Sigfox, se va a trabajar con Sigfox, luego se vuelve un operador de Sigfox en algunos países, en Asia, Singapur y Taiwán. Y con ese enfoque profundo en la necesidad del cliente logra cerrar el contrato más grande que Sigfox haya cerrado, con 850,000 devices en 18 meses para gas. Eso merece un aplauso para Únase. Y una lección, creo, para Sigfox. Bueno, luego Sigfox entra en sus problemas complejos. Y ese David, ¿verdad? Que tiene un operador en esos 2 países, decide en la bancarrota de Sigfox comprar a Sigfox e integrarla a UnaBiz, que es el negocio que ahora es dueño de la tecnología, con las 220 patentes, como operadores en todo el mundo, y con una visión de ser el proveedor de data inteligente al máximo posible de industrias en el mundo, para que con esa información se puedan tomar decisiones inteligentes hacia adelante. Y nosotros en Alejandría, que es la empresa que fundamos para hacer estas inversiones en alta tecnología, queremos ser parte de ese sueño. Y es por eso que invertimos en Cero en Colombia, que es el nuevo nombre de la empresa en Colombia. Tenemos Perú y ahora estamos invertidos acá en México, en donde también encontramos unos socios espectaculares. Realmente NextView, como casa de WM, no sabe cuándo nos vamos a llamar todos UnaBiz. Es un sueño que seamos todos de una parte de una empresa global, en donde las patentes, la tecnología y la distribución estén todos alineados en satisfacer al cliente. Realmente México es un país estrella en el ecosistema de UnaBiz. Han logrado profundizar en varios verticales, tienen un orden absoluto y liderazgo que es bastante especial. Quisiera verte liderando toda la región en un momento, porque eso es una capacidad técnica, humana y de negocios importante. También agradecerles que hayan abierto las puertas de UnaBiz, las puertas de Latinoamérica y las puertas de México. Muchas gracias.
Una fotito para... Muchas gracias, Luis Javier. Sus palabras me hacen recordar muchas cosas, porque justamente esta bancarrota de Sigfox me da mucho, me hizo pensar muchísimo que posiblemente también estábamos mal enfocados en un inicio, incluidos yo, que finalmente cuando traigo la tecnología, les hablo a mis socios de traer esta tecnología a México, que nosotros estamos completamente en el lado de utilitas, electricidad, en otro ramo completamente distinto. Pero cuando yo técnicamente pruebo la tecnología por primera vez aquí en México, fue una sensación tan rara, tan impresionante. La primera vez que hice un desierto fue aquí en Parque México, y me fui lejos, me fui a donde están todos los edificios ahí en Polanco, y desde mi bolsillo con un botón aprieto y veo en mi teléfono que llega la conectividad, la conectividad, fue un sentimiento muy importante para mí. Pero posiblemente al comienzo, todos estos años, los primeros años, incluido el Sigfox, nos enfocamos demasiado en la tecnología, ¿no? Como tal, Sigfox. Y estar estos 2 días con UnaBiz, con Mallory, con Henry, me hicieron entender que realmente detrás están los clientes y detrás está realmente el negocio que tenemos que salir de los datos, y que ese es el foco real de todo este negocio, ¿no? El core en el cual desde ahora en adelante es lo que vamos a empezar a enfocarnos muy fuerte. Vamos a tener un anuncio también a final de la conferencia, ¿no? Para tener todavía más buenas noticias en este relanzamiento. Luis Javier platicó, ¿no? De este sueño de llamarnos todos UnaBiz, de ser UnaBiz, de ser una que significa una empresa. Y esto yo creo que lo tenemos todos, y agradezco mucho a Henry, a mis socios, al ecosistema que nos ha seguido todos estos años, y que realmente yo creo que a partir de hoy le vamos a regresar esa bolita al ecosistema, porque vamos a ser mucho más fuertes juntos. Yo creo que vamos a empezar a escribir una nueva historia muy importante de IoT, y en el cual México, y soy convencido de esto, y lo platiqué mucho con gente ayer, va a tener a nivel global, va a tener un sitio muy importante. Estamos hablando que él viene de visitar 70 países, entonces es algo que lo tiene muy fresco, y está muy contento. Y gracias a ustedes, ecosistema, gracias clientes finales, gracias por realmente hacer esto posible. Gracias. Y le presento a Henry, por favor. Un aplauso.
Hello, everybody. Hola. Sorry, I cannot speak Spanish, so I'm going to speak English. I'm going to speak quite slow today because we had a great party with the people from the Boring Wendy yesterday. And thank you very much for the warm welcoming. Thank you, Luis Xavier, for asking me to come here and discover the region. I was in Colombia 2 days ago. Today I am in Mexico. Seriously, I'm impressed with it. There's so much potential here. There's so much potential, skills, talents. I am totally impressed. I have been traveling around the world for the past year since we acquired Sigfox, and I am clearly impressed by Mexico. And then, what you have done with your team, NXT and so on, it's impressive. So, sincerely, congratulations for all the work that you have been doing in this ecosystem. I have been traveling for the past year in South Africa, Middle East, to North Europe, to Japan, Singapore, Taiwan, so many countries. And I can see the maturity of the ecosystem. I can see the potential of the partners. Yesterday we met a lot of partners from Mexico, and they are impressive. Seriously, you guys have a know-how. You understand what IoT means and so on. I think that I don't have much to tell you about IoT. You guys know and understand why we need IoT. I'm going to be quite humble, saying what happened. I never expected when I started UnaBiz 7 years ago to travel around the world. Going everywhere and trying to explain what IoT is and so on. I never thought, at the beginning when I started UnaBiz, I just said I want to be the leader of IoT for Singapore and maybe Southeast Asia, maybe Malaysia, and that's all. But life sometimes is surprising. We don't know. I want to tell you my story. Actually, I am French-born Chinese. I grew up completely in France. So, je parle français, donc like a French guy. So that's why you can. Ah, tu le vois, hein, my accent when I'm speaking English and so on. Donc ça va, on est français. Désolé, je suis un petit peu français. And worse than that, I was working for the French government and the French embassy for almost 10 years. I was a senior trade advisor for technology for the French embassy based in Beijing, then Guangzhou, then Singapore. I worked 10 years for them. And one day in 2011, I remember, some telco carriers, Singtel from Singapore, came to my office and they said, Henry, have you heard about this new thing coming up called IoT? So what? Yacht? I never heard about IoT. What is that? He said, yeah, this is something new. People are speaking about a new type of network, and I've heard that French people are quite good in that. Maybe as a senior trade advisor, you should take a look and look for French technology. So I went back to France and I asked the ministry to check about the IoT technologies. And we found 3 technologies. The first technology that we found was Sigfox. And Sigfox in 2011, it was a team of 7 people. They sold, it was French people, 3 French people, who sold all the IP to Semtech. And then it became LoRa 1. That was the story of Sigfox. I know the founders very well. They explained me the story, how they started, and so on. Then we met another company called No. No was coming from UK, but there were some French and Swiss engineers inside, and they invented a technology called Weightless. Weightless has been acquired by Huawei 2 years later, and they were using the spectrum, and not the spectrum, but the protocol in order to develop NB-IoT. And then there was a third company called Sigfox. At that time when I met them in 2011, they were like 20 people company, very small. And so I wrote the whole report to Sita. I said, this is the difference of technology, this is why we need that. The vision of Sigfox at that time was to say, everywhere now, people are using too much technology. We are going from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G. Some people now are even speaking about 6G. But do you know that every time we switch a generation, we are going higher in terms of spectrum. We go to a higher frequency. So the cells of every base station is becoming smaller. So it means that the energy consumption in order to have the same coverage is going to be 5 times to 7 times bigger. Every time you switch from a technology to another generation, like 2G to 3G, 3G to 4G, 4G to 5G, we're speaking about 5 to 7 times more energy to power it. And this is why now, even today, you start to think about, you have people, and the telcos are saying, hey, I cannot deploy 5G everywhere, so we're going to do some private 5G. So if you want to have some private 5G, we can buy some base station and you are independent from the telcos. This is the vision of how the world is using too much technology. Yeah, I love to tell this story. You know that LG and Samsung, they have a problem now with the 8K TVs to be imported in Europe. Why? From full HD to 4K, 4K to H to 8K. Now they have a problem with 8K TVs because 8K TVs there are so much pixels that the energy consumption, the diagonal, the size, is a bit too high. So in Europe now you have some regulations saying that for the size of the TV, you cannot consume too much energy. I think that it's time for the world to realize that we have some limited resources: energy, radio spectrum, lithium batteries. We have to think about how we can be much more efficient. And the vision of Sigfox was to say, instead of going 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, we're going to do on the other way. We go 0G. What does it mean to go 0G? It means that my ultimate goal is not to send more information, but it's to send information and data with as minimum energy as possible. As little energy, very slow, fair enough, because my water meter or my electricity meter, it doesn't need to send so fast. I can wait for a few seconds before I reach. That was the beginning of the 0G adventure. And Sigfox, in 2014, they raised a total of $300 million in the 4 or 5 years where they spread about this vision. That was the first time any French tech company has raised so much money. That was the first time we spoke about a unicorn, a potential company who has more than $1 billion valuation and so on. It was crazy. I was working for the French embassy at that time. I said, it's crazy to have a French company. Normally it happened in Silicon Valley, it happened in Shenzhen, in China, but never we saw any French company going to $1 billion valuation. So this is how it started. And then Sigfox called me, and the founder called me and said, why don't you join Sigfox and become our first employee in Asia Pacific? So I joined, and I basically went there with a base station and a sensor, trying to speak about Sigfox and what IoT and LPWA can change for the world from Sydney to Japan. For almost 2 years, I traveled everywhere, trying to convince people that the world needs a new type of network, something which is low power, which is something which is sustainable, something where you put a 2 AAA battery into a sensor, it can last for a few years. That was a mindset, and that was a vision. How to preserve natural resources, how to be energy efficient, and how to be sustainable. That was what happened in 2014. I joined them, started the team. So I became de facto one of the pioneers of IoT in Asia Pacific. And in 2016, I remember I saw so many people doing IoT in Australia, in Japan. It was the hype. I think everybody wanted to do IoT. That was the beginning. I saw an operator in Australia. They started the business, 4 founders. 6 months later, they raised 45 million Australian dollar. I saw the Japanese guy. They started the event and inviting people. 4,000 people come for the event of IoT. I said, oh, I want to do it myself too. So I told the Sigfox people, I said, I want to do Singapore and Taiwan. And I want to create a new company, but with a slightly different vision. Because I was thinking about IoT for all these years, I said, there's a very big difference between IoT and cellular communication, because basically when you do 2G, 3G, 5G, you just put the base station and you will have customers using the SIM card and data. So you're just selling data. Whereas in IoT, even if you're selling connectivity, you need the sensors, you need the hardware, you need the full end-to-end solution. It's not that simple. You need to think about which problems are you solving. It's not just about phone, which has just the main application of a phone is that to go and to connect to the internet and to have your application. But for IoT, you need to think about what do industrial players, our customers need. Utilities, logistics company, retail, malls, buildings. So you have to build up a solution. It's not just as easy to say, okay, we just sell data. No, it's not about data. It's about solving a real customer problem. So that time we decided to create a team in Taiwan, because I foresee at that time that Chinese product would not fly over everywhere in the world because of cybersecurity reasons. You know that IoT, are connected objects, so somewhere is going to be connected back to the internet. So you don't want to have everything made in China. So I said, the only place where electronics ecosystem is as rich, to not say richer than China, is Taiwan. So I went to Taiwan and I started to deploy the network. I spoke with most of the big factories, the OEM, and so on, and said, guys, you have to go into IoT. These are the modules, these are this, these are that, this is how we use your devices. Let's make IoT happen. And that was the time when all the sensors maker around the world was mostly startups, whatever technology it was, and the devices were too expensive. People say, oh, I have an IoT tracker or a temperature sensor. It costs $120. So we have that price nobody wants to buy. So we provided in Taiwan the first IoT sensors where everybody was speaking of $80, $100 and so on. We said, we can do a tracker for $25 and we can do a temperature sensor for $20. We sold this to 20 other countries. We raised one, we became quite successful. And then one of our investors was Japanese KDDI. And Japanese KDDI put $10 million in us. They brought us to Japan and they introduced us a large customer called Nippon Gas. Nippon Gas was doing a POC, a very small POC, 10,000 units. and they were doing metering business with gas, 10,000 units. I said, I love the technology. SLA is really good. I've been testing for 2 years, but I have a problem. I have 2 problems. The first problem is, they said, is the price of the device is too expensive. At $80, I cannot change my fleet because the return on investment is not justifying. And the second one was all the people who have been selling IoT, they want to lock down the customers into the platform. And they said, as utilities, I cannot be locked down for the next 10 years with a platform coming from NEC. That was NEC at that time. So they said, Henry, can you do me a favor? Try to redo the engineering of this and provide me a solution, but less than $30, and let me build my platform. Is it possible? I said, wow. How many do you have? They said 850,000 units. Oh, okay, that was serious. And nobody expected it. In 18 months, during the COVID time, during chip shortage problems and so on, we designed, developed, produced, deployed, installed, maintained 850,000 units of gas metering, network controlling unit, NCU, and we then became quite famous in the industry because it was, and we were breaking 2 world records, I think. The first one was the largest smart meter deal one shot in a single contract, and the second one was the fastest deployment. I remember on that day, some people are doing metering business here. I was with my co-founder, I was in Shenzhen. I remember we came out in the factory and so on. We packed up a 40-feet container with 27,000 units of smart meter inside. When we closed down the container, we were so pleasant. Is there a lot of IoT companies in the world who have packed up a 40-feet container like that? When we said, wow, we did one 40-feet container with 27,000 units of smart meter every week for 18 months. And it has been installed in Japan. Japanese people? If they open the box, if they do random check of quality, if there is a smoke scratch there, they will tell you, Mr. Bong, quality is not good, and so on. So, but what does the scratch do to your system? He said, now you have to check that better. Japanese people are really crazy about quality. So for the past 3.5 years, we have been doing that in Japan, and we won so many other projects in Australia with tracking devices. There's a great use case, and I hope we will do this use case in Mexico. Do you know what is beer kegs? So, all the kegs, where people put draft beers and so on, it goes from the breweries. So, guess what? There are between 10 to 15% of these beer kegs who are getting lost every year by old breweries. So they said that they have to rebuy up to 10-15%, and they don't know where they are, and they don't know how to optimize their collection when it is in the restaurant, and you don't know when it's empty, so you don't know when to go and collect and so on. So they asked us to connect and to track everything for $20-25. They cannot accept more. Once again, IoT is all about massive. If you think that IoT is like a niche where you have to do a few 100,000 pieces for $60 and you get a big margin, you have the wrong mindset. IoT works only in reach massive volume so that you can benefit from this data and really optimize your business. So it's all about how to go to the hundreds of thousands, to the millions. And this is really the vision that we have. So we did this project with the kegs, we did this project with the Japanese guys, and we raised another $25 million. Okay, lucky maybe. But that's what happened last year was crazy. The technology that we were using, Sigfox, went to chapter 11. Of course, I know we knew about it. I called them and said, why did you tell us that you have financial problems? Yeah, but we cannot speak about it and so on. What happened on this day is that the journalists, the media called me and they said, Henry, you are a big customer of Sigfox technology, you are an ex-employee of Sigfox, you have projects in Japan, you have projects in Australia, in Singapore, in Taiwan. What are you going to do now that Sigfox is fighting for chapter 11? I didn't speak to my board, I didn't speak to anybody. I was like, we will never let Sigfox disappear. That's the only thing I said to the media. Second day, it was the main tech newspaper. Mr. Bong said, we will never let Sigfox disappear. The whole world told me, like the investors, the operators, the WND, all the operators in the world, all the big customers said, Mr. Bong, are you going to acquire the company? So, I never thought about that. I just said that I'm not going to let them disappear. But to be honest, I've seen all the different IoT products. I've seen LoRa, NB-IoT. I'm very close to the people from Huawei. I'm very close to the people from Semtech. And I have a vision. I think that if IoT has been disappointing for the past 10 years, it's because everybody has been saying we have the best technology. We have the best protocol. LoRa is the best, NB-IoT is the best, Sigfox is the best. And this is completely wrong. I don't believe in the best technology. I believe in the right technology for the right business. So my obsession for the last 3 years was to be able to create bridges and to create partnerships with all the different technologies. So recently, this week, 2-3 days ago, we announced that UnaBiz joined the LoRa Alliance. And next week, you will see more PR about this convergence. I cannot speak about it officially now because I know it's recorded and so on. But we believe that the only way to make IoT massive is to give choice and options to our end customer. When you have a phone, you have a SIM card or an eSIM inside. You always have a choice between 2, 3, 4 different operators. And depending on the price, on the service, you're going to switch without changing the phone. But for the past 10 years, it was not possible with IoT. You buy a chipset from Semtech, you buy a chipset from Cocktail, you are locked down by this technology for the next 5 to 10 years. So who is crazy enough to put all their assets or all their meters or all their fleet into one technology for the next 5 to 10 years? Seriously, it's insane. So we have been working hard for the past 2-3 years to speak and to promote what I call a united IoT world, to promote a convergence of IoT protocols, so that the future will be multi-technology, so that if you have a meter, if you have a sensor, it will have LoRa, it will have Sigfox, maybe it will have LTE or NB-IoT inside. And you can just decide, depending on the quality of the service and the price of the operator, you will be able to switch from technology to another. And this is what I'm fighting for. This is a convergence of protocols. And it's happening. I can tell you guys that it's happening. So we have great discussion with all the LoRa world, but not only the LoRa world. We just signed with TT, with Things Network, with Activity, we signed with Senet, we signed with L'Oreal. L'Oreal is managing my IoT technology with TSUMB. We signed with Chinese CFISense for the Zeta technology. We are in discussion with other technology companies from Japan. We want convergence. We want to give choice and freedom to our customers. After that, I can tell you that after acquiring, if this is the global commercial slide, I'm sure that they cannot see it from there, so I'm not going to use the slides. I want to move the whole UnaBiz and Sigfox mindset from a technology-centric company, like I have best technology, to a customer-centric business where my customer needs and problems is the most important to me, and I will use the right technology in order to solve this problem. So we create partnership. So Sigfox Network is available in 70 other countries. You can see that even the coverage in Mexico is like more than 60% of the population. I was really impressed yesterday. And we have been partnering with other networks like LoRa players, L'Oreal, Senet, Activity, TTN, so that you can see here, all the light blue is Sigfox, the dark blue is all the Sigfox coverage. But because we're creating bridges between technologies, now we can speak about global abilities. What does it mean? For the United States, for example, where Sigfox is not present anymore, we will be able to do tracking solution coming from Europe or from Mexico in Sigfox, and then roam to a Senet or every network in the United States. That's the vision, to say, if you have multi-protocol, you benefit from both coverage all around the world. And on the top of that, if customers need higher bandwidth, we partners with cellular companies and with Soracom, which is providing some SIM cards and NB-OT and CAPM1 data. And then to be really able to cover the planet, we partnered with some satellite communication company, with Astrocast and UnaBiz, so that they can provide connectivity in the ocean, in the mountain, or in the desert. Our vision is to be able to provide the right technology to the customer's needs, not the best. There's no best. So this said, I'm going to tell you what we plan to do with Sigfox. When we acquired Sigfox, there was one thing I learned which was beyond my expectation. Sigfox has not shown not even 10% of its potential in terms of technology. The reason why Sigfox is so unique is that Sigfox is revolutionizing the radio communication history by, they have 220 patents that we own today at UnaBiz on how we can send a message without being synchronized. Synchronization has been the standard for the last 50 years in radio communication. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular, whatever technology, LoRa, and all the others, there are technologies which shake hand with the network. So, yes, it brings a bi-directional communication, but at what cost in terms of energy? And at the end of the day, at what cost of capacity? When you put a channel in the spectrum, I'm getting a bit technical now, you are getting less capacity. So I'm not going to give more details about the tech, but what I'm saying is that I was testing with the R&D team in Toulouse of Sigfox. Now we have 150 people in France, we have around 230 people around the world. And I was challenging our best engineer. I said, why don't you divide by 10 the power consumption of Sigfox today and give me a report of the message received in the city? You have to know that normally, in terms of milliwatts, Sigfox is using around 20-30 milliwatts to send a message. LoRa will use 30-40 milliwatts, and NB-OT will use 70-80 milliwatts for the message. But when you go to let's say 1 or 2 milliwatts, so 10 times smaller, we realize that in Toulouse, we were still receiving the message. So I challenged the team again, and I said, why don't we divide by another 10 and going into the microwatt space, the micro power space? Let's try to send a message at 200 microwatts. And we were still receiving a message at 90% in the whole city. When you reach this kind of level of power, this is the beginning of where you can take out the battery from the equation. Forget about lithium battery, and you can use energy harvesting. So now all our R&D is working on this new type of messages where the power is so low that we can basically use a small solar panel. You know what you're seeing in calculator, or in a very cheap calculator. You put that, and maybe we can send a message every day. We can use chemical batteries, sugar-based batteries. This is the future. To me, if you want to see a world with billions of devices everywhere, connected to the network, but without power, just with battery. You cannot expect to do that with lithium battery. Otherwise, you are going to kill the planet. So I believe that in terms of sustainability, we as a company owning today more than 12 million devices around the world, we are responsible to think about what's next. It's not winning a contract with utilities or winning a contract with a big MNC. It's just the beginning of the partnership. We have to think about the service for the next 5 to 10 years, and we have to think about what we do in 10 years' time with the sales. I always say to the team, the new R&D is about recyclability and disposability. The new R&D is about research and development, is recyclability and disposability. How can we take out the battery from the equation, the lithium from the equation? How can we use surrounding energy in order to power a message sent to the network? Because that will be the only way to really go to massive quality. So this is what we are doing, and to be honest, I've been traveling all around the world to give this vision. I hope that I was not too boring and that you guys understand it. And I am very impressed once again by Mexico potential and partners that I've met yesterday. So the team here with Daniel, let's build this dream together. You will get our full support, and we're here to stay. And we are here to build a more sustainable and more connected world with the most efficient IoT technology in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Henri. Muchas gracias a todos. No sé si podemos pasar a unas preguntas y respuestas. Tom, si puedes.
My name is Tom Kessler. I'm coming in to use some Mexico. We represent Ciudades.
Parece que no.
We had some subject video that is thank you very much for your speech. Our focus, we're representatives. I work with we're extremely interested in processes that facilitate hardware design and what you're talking about in energy harvesting. You know, you're going to get mass employment in the region if there's customers here that can design at lower cost for self-employment. The other thing is because we represent Kyocera, I'm extremely interested in that project we had in Japan. We're trying to get Kyocera to pay more attention to design opportunities in the region, use some of their RF parts. You know, we'd like to have a million piece deployments with their RF parts in the locally defined area. So you're right on. Energy harvesting and power consumption is the way to go. I do a lot of work with super caps and with the dish. These are all areas of intense interest for us to share with your vision. We also represent Semtech in the U.S., so I think things are really after that. Thanks for buying. Thanks for buying Sigfox.
Thank you. Kyocera is a partner in Japan. So, you know, the printer and so on. Kyocera is the authority to the and they have one of the best networks of solution. They have like 7,000 precision, so it's extremely dense. You know, when you're in Paris, for example, you use a Sigfox device, you check the number of PlayStation receiving it. You'll probably have 5 to 7 PlayStation receiving the message. You go to Tokyo, anywhere in Tokyo, you use a message. The redundancy is like 25 PlayStation is receiving the message. It's crazy because it's just Thank you, Tom.
Gracias, Tom. Gracias, Tom, también por estar desde el comienzo con nosotros. Tom es representante de Kyocera, también de Onsemi Conductos, que hacen los transceivers, que tienen los módulos. Cerraron. Gracias. ¿Alguien más tiene alguna pregunta? Cristian.
Hello everyone, my name is Christian from Acosmi. First, thank you Henri for sharing your vision, your thoughts, your history, your story. But I have a question. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I read about new protocol, IoT protocol, called IoT from Center. So I agree with you that the most important thing is to meet the needs of the customer. But I would like to know about the strategy to position the Sigfox or the positioning the Sigfox to the Mexican market. And if you know the differences between IoT and
So one of the things we have done with L'Oreal, who is managing also TSUNB and IoT Association Alliance in Germany and Switzerland, is that we create a partnership between their government and our meaning that we are also believing that TSUNB and IoT is a good technology for certain use cases. But there's one thing which is important. There are a lot of very good technologies coming out. I can speak about TSUNB, I can speak about Zeta. There are more. But you can have a very good technology, but not having the right ecosystem. The ecosystem, having the chipset, the semiconductors, people like your Sarah and all your on-series having the right things, the right modules and so on. You need time. You need time to build up this ecosystem. So we are supporting IoT and other technologies which are innovative. And we want them to be successful. And we're creating bridges because we want a united IoT LP1 Europe. We are using actually the same spectrum. So we, depending on the customer needs, we always say there's no best technology, depending on the available ecosystem, available semiconductors, depending on the use case and the bandwidth that you need to send your message, we will recommend the right technology. But yes, we know very well IoT, and I think that is good technology.
Gracias. Quiero aprovechar esta pregunta para comentarles que justamente toda esta expertise que han escuchado hablar de UnaBiz a nivel mundial y este conglomerado de países, de expertise realmente en todos los países, quisiéramos bajarlo a México. Lo primero que ya hemos decidido es que finalmente ya no somos únicamente un operador de tecnología Sigfox, sino que somos un operador de IoT 0G. Por supuesto, nos concentramos en la parte del 0G, LP1. Entonces, en cualquier problema, en cualquier momento, un proyecto de ustedes que requiera otra tecnología que no sea Sigfox, estamos nosotros aquí para apoyarlos en cualquier parte de México, porque ese es nuestro expertise. Tenemos sitios por toda la República Mexicana, inclusive islas. Aquí les pueden comentar, Sebastián fue a poner una base station en una isla de la Marina. Entonces, realmente tenemos cobertura en donde ustedes tengan los proyectos para hacer eso. Pero no solamente, esta es la parte de cubrir, ¿no?, con la tecnología. Finalmente, el expertise que nos está trayendo una vez ahora a México es finalmente esos 200 ingenieros que están manejando la tecnología del sitio y otras tecnologías. LoRa, ese expertise que tiene justamente de unir en un pool a todos los fabricantes del mundo para que puedan traer dispositivos a México y que ustedes, como device maker, también aquí hay muchos device makers, puedan exportar sus dispositivos a otras latitudes. Y eso es algo muy importante porque finalmente, para un buen caso de uso, se requiere el fit del mejor dispositivo, la mejor plataforma y la mejor tecnología. Esos son otras expertise que estamos trayendo justamente para ustedes, para ofrecerles más servicios, ofrecerles más mercados, ahora a partir de México y de este nuevo UnaBiz que se está creando. No sé si, dime, Rafael.
I have a question for Henry. Hi, Henry, how are you? I work for Tenaris. Tenaris is a number one pipe steel maker in the world for oil and gas. And we have presence in many countries, Mexico, United States, Canada, Colombia, Argentina, Italy, Romania, etc. So 3 years ago, I started using Sigfox in Veracruz because we have a very big producer facility in Veracruz. We bought in the United States. We did a small proof of concept. It works fine, and now I'm responsible for a team that is deploying IoT for Tenaris. We start deploying in Mexico. It was good, and we started to deploy something in the United States. It was when the Sigfox eventually appeared in Mars. So we started deploying narrowband IoT. And then we moved to Colombia 3 months ago. The the network was shut down in the middle of the chain of the operator. Now we are going to deploy something in Canada. We are going to deploy the other one because we have and now we are talking about moving to Brazil, Argentina, Italy, so my question is, we proposal and we as a customer, this is the door that we need to know, because we are trying to deploy standards in the night. Every time I took a new need of a new country, United World, I need to start talking with from Argentina, Israel, Brazil, with this government and this government of technology, how is what are the chances to do this kind of relationship and deployment more for
Welcome to the world of IoT. Okay, first of all, I'm not responsible about US and all the things that happened in the past. And I'm facing this kind of question everywhere in the world. Like, we think that Sigfox is a good technology that works network. Anyway, today we have a lot of densification network equipment. So when you talk to Mallory or myself or to Danielle, we can provide coverage as a service. So if there are some zone in Latin America where you say, I would like to Sigfox network, and there is none so far, can we deploy? We will propose you a coverage as a service. On top of that, I think that the future we have to be pragmatic. We have to be pragmatic. If you have chipset and module in the future, we can speak, let's say, 2 or 3 languages, LoRa and Sigfox, then come on. Let's have an open market, an open competition. You choose the best operator. But the thing is that most of the time you will find that local one players will propose you to build up the network by yourself and to own manage the network. And a lot of customers that I'm seeing, MNC in the world, they don't want to deploy this kind of network. You don't have a lot of public network in LoRaWAN. You have a few, and they're all partners today. So the future will be multi-protocol, and I will say choose the best network and not pushing Sigfox more than LoRa or more than NB-OT. But you have to play with different technologies and put as a standard that the future of the sensors has to be at least integrated 2 technologies. And that will come in the semiconductor level. STMicroelectronics and all the others are already working on this new type of chipset, which can do at least 2 technologies. It's coming. Follow us on social media. There is a big announcement planned for next week. I cannot tell you. Very big. Jose.
No, some about ESC, right? But they are not integrated, I guess. Maybe a new one. Not yet.
That's it. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. One, I agree with you that there is no one best solution on one best or on one. I'm coming from usual intelligence. Working more than 10 years in Africa and South Zambia. The right technology in terms of what is where is it, or what is right to do in this. So you need to have different options to offer the right solution. On the right solution, study the right solution today. But tomorrow, you have to think that maybe you have to make maybe. IoT, I guess, is one solution which more ideas large possibility to adapt or choose the right solution and the right solution. But one main problem is to pick any solution that makes sense, you need the right solution. Or how do you just say? There is not one solution. The right solution is not only one solution. But we need so I'm very glad to see that we are thinking about the growing of cities like that. But when it's going to happen, because our customers want to see not today, yes, there. So the connectivity is not giving us enough solutions to provide the right solution to our what is the short-term vision to provide maybe more connectivity periods.
I cannot tell you more than what I'm going to say. Follow us on the social media. Something big is going to happen next week. Next week? Next week. So, it's late, but that will really represent and it's going to be a milestone, and that's to me is the beginning of the end of the war between technology products. So there's something now preparing that will come next week. So you have to be patient until next week. I don't have magic formula to tell you that tomorrow we'll have several connectivities available. Yeah, but we will have this from the semiconductors. From the semiconductor. From the telecommunicating from the semiconductors. At least offer some options. Always my mindset is to be freedom and choice. So that my customer and that they can have confidence to deploy a solution for the next 5 years. Let's wait.
Yeah.
One of us.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Mexico, currently, we have 7 or 8% of the market in natural gas market. Mexico, 7 or 8% of the market is natural gas. In Mexico, Mexico. There are 5 principal companies. There is no market for natural gas in the market. But one of the biggest issues is about the current. How do you handle that? So that every 5 years to review the current. How we handle so that the video people that not market are buying this market. Yeah. The point is, currently in Mexico, we have 7 or 8% of the market with meters. There is no smart meters. Okay. And one of the critical issues of the tariff. Every 5 years, you have to review the tariffs. Yeah. How to handle that footprint? Really, when you want to invest in this market, so that the people are buying, or big companies are buying smart meters. And one of the issues that we got in the past is about the cost.
This is why I believe that we have to provide very low cost solutions to utilities. It doesn't make sense to have a smart meter which will cost $100 and more, especially when you have a volume of several hundreds of thousands or millions of users. I think that Japan was a bit special for many reasons. Nichi Gas is extremely sensitive to digitalization, and they really want to provide very modern services to all their customers. On top of that, you have in Japan a population which is getting aging much faster than other places. So it's very difficult for them to do manual reading. It's expensive, and it's not sustainable. So they really have to find a solution. And on the top of that, I think that in Japan, because they were doing LPG gas and city gas, they wanted to optimize all the connection of tank and then distribution of tank. And from what I've understood from Nichi Gas, is that after the deployment, they could save between 30 to 40% of their petrol and all the energy that they have been using in order to collect the tanks. So to them, it was a goal towards sustainability and more decarbonization of the business. And this is to me very very novel. It's nice. Does it work in all the countries in the world? I think that at a certain point of time, manual reading will be obsolete. It will depend on the price and the quality of the service. If tomorrow I'm telling you that there will be meters at $20, you'll probably think about it twice. But today the market is at a certain point where very developed countries will afford it because they are approved. The average revenue per user is higher. I've understood that in Latin America, the output for gas, for example, is so low that it doesn't justify to install meters straight away. But at a certain time, I believe the curve will cross the offer and the demand, and that you will do it. NG is part of my board, okay? And I'm sitting in my board. Yeah, and you will go to smart meter at a certain point of time. Is it going to be this year or in 10 years' time? I don't know. But you will have to do it. You will do it because that will be the norm. You already started with NG. So perfect. Thank you very much. But I hope I regretted the question.
Pablo.
First of all, say thanks to Mexico, just and probably gas. We are very pleased with it's alive and keeps our companies working together. And the second is I'm very pleased to meet all these guys because we have this space to be together in one place. And it's going to be very important that all the users and distributors and end users we can join together to share our expertise and to share our comments about our customers, and to say the end user best solution and the best sensor for each market. Because, for example, the gas has been installed on deployed some antennas for WMD, and I know that probably somebody may have any type of program coverage, but we can have a customer there, and we can install an antenna there, so we can share information about our customers, and now having them here on the team, that would be possible to have like once a year these kind of meetings, so we can share our experience, and we can share about our comments and our best case solutions that we have, so we can do it. So thank you very much for having me.
Gracias, Pablo. This is collaborative IoT. We will push more of this reunion, these meetings each year. Thanks, Pablo. Creo que Marisol está.
Sí, te explico, gracias. So it's nice meeting you. My name is Marisol Carretillo from a company named Earth Technology. We have been around also since, or from the beginning, Pedro and Daniel here. So I believe we are very aligned on the mindset you have just shared, and we work with Rafael, actually. And what you are doing now, I believe it will unlock a level in which we can develop much more the market, because this is one of the big barriers, right? That are up there. We are device designers and we make end-to-end solutions. I will look forward personally to find out in which way we can also collaborate and learn from you and also from the whole community. I think we have been a bit apart in the last few years, but we have to come together to be able to achieve more, which the solutions that we have. And of course, I am eager to know when some things are going to be available, because that's when we can also offer those solutions to the clients. I mean, we know semiconductors that are available, but if we put, too many different communications, we will have a device that will be very expensive instead of the opposite. So we have to balance, like you say, the right solution for our clients, right? So I think we are in the right path, and I think we also need to communicate from your side, but also to our clients where we are, what we can achieve now, but also what we will be able to achieve in the long term, right? So those are my 2 cents, and I will get in touch around with Daniel, Pedro, and also with your team, of course. Jadia, particularly, we know each other.
Thank you.
Gracias, yo creo que es muy importante esto porque finalmente tenemos todos que aprovechar que ahora en nuestro ecosistema existe una empresa, un equipo que ha logrado instalar 1.4 millones al día de hoy de medidores de gas en un país, ¿no? Eso es un conocimiento único porque realmente no existe en otra parte del mundo. Yo creo que finalmente si buscan cualquier otra tecnología que haya instalado medición de gas remota para 1.4 millones de medidores, no existe. Entonces, no solamente desde el tema tecnológico, pero el deployment, cómo se realiza, cómo realizar un deployment masivo, completamente masivo, es un expertise único y eso es lo que queremos ahora ofrecerles a ustedes a través de esta, pues, diría finalmente, ya no es como antes donde estaba Sigfox, que era muy francés así, y los operadores que eran los de abajo. Ahora realmente somos un equipo unido, entonces vean, los ingenieros y el equipo de UnaBiz está también de ese lado en México. No sé si tendríamos otra pregunta. Sí, Gilberto.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you very much for So I was listening to the talk and I wanted to share information about corporations and we are sensitive to that problem, which we have you're usually trapped in the cloud, right? And the best thing is to enable data to flow freely between clouds. But at the same time, I'm curious to understand what's your differentiation strategy, because at the same time, while I was listening to the talk and I have to believe that there's a lot of players coming to the space in the ecosystem. And this interoperability, while it's something very good for end users, it's also a challenge for you guys. So I want to understand what your differentiation strategy, what type of capabilities you see, functionalities that you guys are going to develop with the technology. I mean, saying that in a different way, what type of needs you think you guys are going to keep serving. And also, what's your vision in terms of satellite integration, and what's the role that satellites are going to play?
That's two very interesting questions. Okay. Yes, we're open and promote the ecosystem. We are tech agnostic and we want to work with every technologies and we want them to be successful. That said, we own 223 patents on the Sigfox technology, which in terms of energy consumption and simplicity today is completely unique. I can tell you that there is no even any technology which is getting even close to the energy consumption that Sigfox can go with the protocol and the simplicity of the protocol. The only technology which are getting close to that is actually RFID. And we are going there, meaning that I foresee a future where there will be 0G Sigfox connected smart labeling tracking solution, and it's already existing in Japan. We have a product called the Seagull, which is a few dollars smart label, which can track for 6 months with a chemical battery, not using lithium. And why are we able to do that? Just simply because the patents are protecting us, and it was not developed by UnaBiz, it was developed by Sigfox in the past, are protecting the technology to do this very special and simple one-way communication so that it has much more energy efficiency and much more capacity. And this is why we believe this is a differentiation and a uniqueness that the whole world will need in the future. Two, speaking about satellite communication. I speak to most of the IoT satellite communication in the world. I believe there is a market, but they will have problem of capacity. It is bandwidth, and also in terms of number of devices that can be seen by the nanosatellites. So for very specific use cases in the sea, in the mountains, and so on, it doesn't make sense. But if you go to the city, to indoor, which is completely impossible for satellite communication, you will still need terrestrial communication. So yes, we work with Guineas as focus because we believe it's complementary, but we believe that you need terrestrial and satellite communication to cover the whole world. So for fleet tracking, for example, in the sea, you will need satellite communication because nobody will build this kind of network everywhere. So yes, complementary, and happy to work with them and to provide that, but don't expect satellite communication to replace everything. Huh? Totally no way. Okay, next one. Go ahead.
That's not really great. My name is Pedro Mendoza. I work for Next Lab, which is a company part of the Next Group. We have been working in the utilities market for a very long time, and sometimes our clients ask us for devices that should be long-lasting. My question is, in your point of view,
Why sometimes? It should be always.
always, yes. But in your experience and in your opinion, does it work to do a device long lasting, or should we take
I love the question.
should we take another strategy to do the device cheaper?
In theory, with Excel file and so on, most of our meters can last for 12 to 15 years. But let me tell you, whoever put that in the specs haven't tested it yet in the field. There is no IoT company, no technology, nobody who has deployed smart metering for 10 years yet. And I can tell you that a lot of meters makers and utilities have faced this problem of battery passivation, network saturation, accuracy of the meters after 2, 3, 4 years. Most of the biggest brands in metering business have paid huge amount of penalties to the utilities because of these 3 problems: battery passivation, network saturation, accuracy of the reading. What I can tell you is that from our experience today, we have done meters in Sigfox, we have done meters in Cat M1 LTE-M, and we can see the difference. And what I'm telling you is that after after 4 years, we still have a pretty good SLA on the 0G network, around 98-99% every month. So the customer can bill. But when you use cellular network, when you go to NB-LTE or Cat M1, yes, you have good bandwidth. But the problem is that just like your phone, it keeps looking for the network to synchronize. So you have your meter keep looking for the network. Sometimes it will reboot 2-3 times and look for the network until the battery got depleted. And we are using very good chipsets from Quectel, from U-Blocks, which are very big name in the cellular network. So the predictability of the autonomy on cellular network is extremely difficult to put on paper. So once again, it's not because of technology is best or not. It's because they synchronize with the network, so they have to look and keep looking for the network. If the network is not good enough, they will keep looking again. So I don't believe that that cellular network is the right technology for metering business. And there is another thing which is very important with cellular network. I'm going to get killed by the telcos here and by Huawei, but it doesn't matter because I know it's the truth. If you look at 10 years ago, 5 years ago, when we started UnaBiz and Sigfox, people were speaking about using GPRS on meter and so on. There are millions of meters deployed in Europe using GPRS 2.5G. What is happening now is that 2G and 3G are being decommissioned because they're all based on a license which is given by the regulator. And if all the big telco guys in the world keep doing 5G, 6G, and 7G in the world, at a certain point of time, 4G will be limited in terms of time too, because they are regulated by a license which is paid to the regulator. And the telcos will have to decide if they want to pay this money to extend for another 5 years. So this is why there is not a lot of utilities in the world who can bet for the next 10, 15 years on the cellular technology. Very simple.
What is the price for unit of PCS project you can have?
The first units of data is confidential. Anything above this amount, they said that we not find the return on investment, it will not be. So now we're working with 4 utilities in Japan. They all want this kind of range to be done. And I think that NGP was one of the companies that if it's like $60 each, the return on investment is like 10 years. When it comes to $20, $25, the return on investment is like 2 years. So now you know why NG invested in us.
I know that, but I think there is a huge market.
Bueno, gracias Henry, muchas gracias por todo. Y ahora, para irnos con una nota muy buena, ayer que estábamos hablando con un partner que tenemos aquí, que es yo creo que uno de los partners que más ha sufrido el tema de Sigfox, el tema de que Sigfox esté en bancarrota, porque realmente cuando estás en el tema de medidores de agua, son licitaciones gubernamentales, la competencia no siempre es leal, ¿no? La competencia es dura, y la competencia a veces miente, ¿no? Y en este caso, agarraron notas amarillistas de que Sigfox estaba muerto, que Sigfox ya no existía nunca en ninguna parte del país, y finalmente lo sacaron técnicamente de las licitaciones. Entonces, hablando con Henry, dije, pues tenemos que hacer algo fuerte, algo muy poderoso, a ayudarlos para que en este 2023 nuevamente resurjan todos los proyectos. Y con Marco platicamos ayer, y hoy, aquí lo tengo, vamos a firmar un MOU entre UnaBiz, WND México y Water Meter Corp, en el cual nos comprometemos como tecnología y como operador de garantizarle en todas las municipalidades que Water Meter cubra con sus proyectos, en darle el mejor servicio para que en los próximos 10 años Water Meter instale 1 millón de medidores de agua con tecnología Sigfox. Muchas gracias por esto. Un aplauso para Marco, para Water Meter, para los socios. Yo creo que es una de las personas y empresas que además creyó en la tecnología, inclusive en estos momentos tiene un stock impresionante. Igual Henry también lo comprobó, un stock de decenas de miles de dispositivos Sigfox medidores, y esto amerita realmente un apoyo muy importante por parte de UnaBiz y de nosotros aquí en México. Gracias, Marco, y podemos pasar a firmar el MOU, por favor.
Ah, ya, man.
Muchas gracias a todos por venir. Con esto concluimos y seguimos en el networking. ¡Ánimo! Y ahora, ¿a quién está el primer millón? No sé lo que te miro a ti.
A ella. Va a tener un módulo que se llama entonces ya vas a poder no, pero te ayudo, lo podemos ver con vos. Eso está muy bien.
Como dice Russell Brand, yo ya soy accionista. Me impresiona mucho Okay. Pues a lo mejor ponerles el día. I'm sending the hell de fabricar sus radios speakers y YSL cambió a ese day. Pero tengo partes de DF. Ya, exacto.
Pero lo que van a hacer es que va a ser 5 horas que van en breve.
Sí, tengo un amigo, ese tipo tiene un local, y imprime dinero haciendo soluciones a los ranchos. Él mañana compraría una base de Sigfox y lo pone en el centro.
Es lo que van a hacer. Sin mucho valor. Lo que es el valor de
¿Cuánta gente lo compra y lo pone?
ya las estamos trayendo, ya las estamos
Y es confiable. Helios es un desastre, ¿no? Pero Sigfox es muy bien. Ándale, pues, Alberto. Alberto, te presenté a Smart, trabaja en nuestra oficina. Te va a acompañar próximamente.